Most people think the BMW X1 costs about $15,000 more than the Kia Sportage. They are wrong. By the time you account for fuel, maintenance, and what happens when you try to sell it 3 years later, the real gap between these two vehicles can push well past $25,000. And the remarkable thing is that almost nobody talks about that number when they are standing in a showroom. Today, we are going to talk about it. And by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly whether the BMW X1 genuinely earns that premium, or whether you are paying a very large sum of money for something that largely lives in your imagination. If you enjoy finding out where your money actually goes in today's car market, subscribe to Feature Match Auto and turn on notifications, because every day we put premium vehicles against mainstream alternatives and ask the question nobody in a dealership wants you to ask. The ownership cost number we are building toward, the full picture, is going to come mid-video, and I would ask you to stay for it because it is the one figure that reframes everything else we are about to discuss. Let us set the stage. BMW X1 xDrive 28i, roughly $47,000 to $48,000 before you touch the options list. Well-equipped Kia Sportage, $31,000 to $35,000, depending on trim. Add the hybrid powertrain, and you are still under $37,000. That sticker gap is real. But here is the thing about sticker gaps. They are the beginning of the story, not the end. Keep that thought close as we go through this, because it is going to matter more than anything else we cover today. Round 1. Design. Whether people admit it or not, design is one of the first things that sells a car, and one of the first things that justifies a premium in a buyer's mind. The BMW X1 is handsome in that restrained, understated European way. The kidney grille has been controversial for years, but it reads as intentional. The LED lighting is crisp. The silhouette communicates premium without shouting. It is a car that does not try to impress you. It assumes you already know. There is a quiet authority to it in a car park that photographs do not quite capture. Now here is where the Kia might surprise you. The current generation Sportage is genuinely striking. Kia's design language uses dramatic angles, sharp surface cuts, and a full-width LED light bar across the front that makes it look like something from a segment well above its price. It is a polarizing design. Not everyone will love the geometry, but nobody calls it generic. In certain colors, the Sportage draws more eyes in a car park than the BMW parked next to it. Kia has clearly decided that designing invisible cars is no longer the plan. Ask yourself this honestly. If the badges were removed, how much of the BMW's design premium would you actually pay for? That is not a rhetorical trick. It is the central question of this entire comparison, and we are going to keep coming back to it. Design call: BMW on sophistication, Kia on visual drama. Taste decides the winner. Neither should feel like a consolation prize in a car park. Round 2. The interior. This is where BMW owners will feel most vindicated. Up to a point, step into the X1. The curved display flows across the dashboard, a 10.25-inch digital cluster blended with a 10.7-inch infotainment screen in a single seamless arc. The leather is soft, the plastics are premium. The door closes with that solid, damped thunk that costs engineers real money to calibrate. Every surface you touch communicates that someone cared about the details. This is not imagination. BMW has genuinely spent money here, and it shows. But here is what BMW does not want you to do next. Sit in a well-equipped Kia Sportage. Because the Sportage runs its own dual curved display, a 12.3-inch digital cluster alongside a 12.3-inch touchscreen. And the materials, while not identical to BMW's, are genuinely good. Soft touch surfaces where your hands actually land. A clean, logical layout. No obvious cost-cutting in the areas that matter. Spend 1 week inside a top-trim Sportage and you stop consciously noticing the gap. That is a deeply uncomfortable sentence for a $48,000 vehicle to have to compete with. BMW's iDrive 8 infotainment is excellent. Fast, intuitive, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Responsive voice recognition. Kia's system is also wireless CarPlay and Android Auto compatible. Well organized and quick. The BMW experience is slightly more polished in its native services. But honestly, for someone spending 90% of their time in Apple CarPlay, would they notice the difference on a Tuesday morning commute? Would you? Is that a real-world advantage or a brochure advantage? Interior call: BMW wins on material quality. Kia wins on value per dollar spent. The gap is real, but meaningfully smaller than $15,000 suggests. And now I need to pause and plant something in your mind because we have not reached the most important number yet. But I want you to hold this question as we go through the next few sections. If the BMW's interior advantage is real but narrowing, where exactly is the rest of that premium going? Because we are going to find out, and the answer is going to change the way you look at this comparison. Now, before we go further, I want to address something that most car comparisons avoid entirely: the badge, because to ignore it would be dishonest about how cars are actually bought and experienced. There is a reason the BMW badge carries weight that the Kia badge does not. It is a century of motorsport heritage, engineering reputation, and cultural identity built across generations. When you drive a BMW, something happens in how other people perceive you, and more importantly, in how you perceive yourself. You sit differently, you feel differently, you arrive somewhere differently. These are not trivial observations. Identity and self-perception are real psychological forces, and anyone who dismisses badge value as shallow has not been honest about why they bought their own car. Would your colleagues notice you pulled up in a BMW versus a Kia? Probably yes. Would your neighbors? In most cases, yes. Does parking a BMW communicate something different about a person than parking a Sportage? In the current cultural context, it still does. The question, the only question, is whether those feelings are worth the gap. Not just the sticker gap, but the full gap we have not revealed yet. How much of the BMW experience comes from what is under the bonnet, and how much comes from 3 letters on the boot? That is not criticism. It is the core issue every buyer in this segment should resolve honestly before signing anything. Would you still value the badge the same way 5 years from now, or does that feeling depreciate faster than the car itself? Round 3, practicality. Because SUVs exist to be useful, not just impressive. The Sportage is longer overall and gives rear passengers measurably more legroom. If you are the parent who regularly hears, "I am cramped back here," on the way to a sports match, you will feel that difference the first time 3 adults try to share the X1's rear bench. The BMW prioritizes the driver's world. The Kia prioritizes everyone in the car. Cargo space. Sportage offers around 67 cubic feet with rear seats folded. The X1 delivers around 58 cubic feet. 9 cubic feet sounds abstract until it is the difference between your golf bag fitting or riding home with someone else. The more expensive vehicle gives you less practical room. That is not a mistake in the comparison. It is genuinely what happens when you pay more for engineering sophistication rather than interior volume. The Sportage also includes heated rear seats as standard on upper trims. On the X1, that is an option you pay additionally for. Here is the thought experiment. Strip away the badge, the steering feel, and the brand identity. Just the practical SUV function, and which vehicle is serving your family better? The answer, in this round, is the Kia. The answer becomes much more complicated in a moment. But first, performance. Round 4, performance. This is where the BMW makes its most convincing case, and I want to give it the credit it genuinely deserves. The X1 runs a turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder producing 241 horsepower through a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic with standard all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 in roughly 6.2 seconds. Quick, responsive, refined. The engine pulls cleanly from low revs, and the gearbox is sharp without being aggressive. But here is where the Sportage does something unexpected. Kia does not have one engine in the Sportage. It has a family of powertrains. The turbocharged X-Line puts out 281 horsepower. That is more than the BMW. Then there is the Sportage Hybrid, combining a 1.6-liter turbo with an electric motor for 227 combined horsepower and dramatically better fuel economy. And the plug-in hybrid, available in several markets, adds real electric-only range on top of that. Fuel economy, the X1 returns roughly 25 city and 33 highway miles per gallon. The Sportage Hybrid returns around 38 city and 38 highway. over 100,000 miles at average U.S. fuel prices. That gap saves somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000 at the pump alone. Not a rounding error. Now the driving experience, and this is where I want to be completely straight with you, because BMW earns this. The X1's steering is the kind that makes you take the long way home. Direct, weighted, communicative, in a way that tells you exactly what the front wheels are doing. Body roll is well controlled. The chassis feels alive, in a way most SUVs at any price do not. If you actually enjoy driving as an activity rather than a commuting obligation, the BMW delivers something the Kia simply cannot replicate. That is not marketing language. It is a real, engineered characteristic. The Sportage handles competently, accurately, safely, without drama, but it does not invite you to seek out empty roads. It is a capable, comfortable appliance, and for the majority of real-world buyers, that is not an insult. It is precisely what they need and honestly what they will use. Here is where many buyers get caught. They test drive the BMW, feel that chassis, feel that steering, and emotionally commit. The feeling is real. But ask yourself this: will you still feel it 6 months from now, on the school run, in the rain, in traffic? Or is some portion of that feeling coming from the showroom lights and the fresh leather smell and the knowledge that you are sitting in a BMW? Safety. Both vehicles are genuinely excellent. The X1 carries emergency braking, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and available highway driving assist that handles steering, braking, and acceleration in suitable conditions. The Sportage holds a 5-star NHTSA rating and an IIHS top safety pick. It offers forward collision avoidance, blind spot monitoring, driver attention warning, and navigation-based smart cruise control, and most of it is standard, rather than locked behind option packages the way several BMW features are. The safety gap between these two vehicles is meaningfully smaller than the price gap implies. Now, we have reached it. The number that made me rethink this entire comparison and the number that makes the BMW argument genuinely difficult to defend for most buyers: ownership costs. An oil change on the BMW X1 runs roughly twice what the same service costs on a Kia Sportage. Annual service on the X1 falls between $400 and $700 depending on what is due. The same interval on a Sportage typically runs $150 to $300. Brake jobs, cooling system work, tire replacements all carry a premium in BMW parts and the labor rates required to work on them properly. BMW used to include 3 years of complimentary maintenance, which softened the sting. Once that window closes, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. Over 5 years and 60,000 miles, independent analysis puts BMW maintenance and repair costs $3,000 to $6,000 higher than equivalent Sportage costs before fuel. Add the Sportage Hybrid's fuel savings over that same period, another $4,000 to $6,000. We are now over $10,000 in running costs alone, stacked on top of the purchase price gap. But the number that surprised even me is depreciation. BMW vehicles typically lose 40 to 50% of their value in the first 3 years. A $47,000 X1 may be worth $26,000 to $28,000 after 3 years. A $34,000 Sportage, retaining 55 to 60%, lands around $18,000 to $20,000. The absolute dollar loss in those 3 years is actually higher on the BMW, sometimes by $4,000 to $6,000. When you stack the purchase gap, maintenance gap, fuel gap, and depreciation gap, the total cost difference over 3 years of ownership can comfortably exceed $25,000. This changes the entire equation. The BMW is not $15,000 more expensive. For many buyers, in real-world ownership, it is closer to $25,000 more expensive, sometimes more. The sticker price is the opening offer. Ownership is the full story. For buyers who understand and accept this as the cost of the experience they have deliberately chosen, this is fine. It is a lifestyle decision, and there is nothing wrong with making it. But for buyers who assumed the premium ended at the showroom door, this is the number that rewrites the story completely. One final ownership factor: reliability. Kia regularly outperforms BMW in J.D. Power and Consumer Reports' long-term dependability studies. The Sportage holds above-average scores in its current generation. BMW scores below average in most major long-term surveys, with the X1 being among its better performers, but still trailing mainstream competitors. This does not mean BMWs break down. It means repair visits happen more frequently, cost more when they occur, and require more specialized attention than a Sportage visit to any competent, independent workshop. So, the verdict. And I am going to make this one clear. If both vehicles cost the same, I would choose the BMW. The driving experience is genuinely better. The cabin quality is genuinely higher. The brand satisfaction is real. Given identical price tags, the X1 wins, but they do not cost the same. Not by the sticker price, and certainly not by the full ownership cost. And that is the entire story. The BMW X1 is the right vehicle for a specific buyer, the driver who genuinely enjoys the act of driving, who will notice and value that precise steering not just on day 1, but on day 365. The professional for whom the badge communicates something meaningful in their daily context, and who has decided that communication is worth the financial cost. The buyer who leases rather than purchases, where depreciation and some maintenance costs are absorbed into the lease structure and the monthly gap over a Sportage becomes more manageable. The person who has a trusted independent BMW specialist, a budget that accommodates the running costs, and a clear-eyed understanding of the full financial picture before they sign. The Kia Sportage is the right vehicle for the majority of buyers in this comparison. Not as a fallback, not as a compromise, as a first-choice decision made from a position of confidence and informed judgment. The Sportage delivers more cargo space, more rear-seat room, better fuel economy in hybrid form, stronger long-term reliability data, lower running costs, above-average safety scores, and a design that no longer apologizes for its price, all at $13,000 to $15,000 less at the door, and potentially $10,000 less again over the years that follow. For families, for commuters, for buyers who are honest about how they actually use a vehicle on an average Wednesday, the Sportage wins on value. It is not even close. So why spend $15,000 more, or, in reality, potentially $25,000 more? You spend it for the way the BMW drives, for the badge, and everything that badge means to you personally, for the steering that makes you take the long way home, for the prestige of a brand built over a century and the identity that comes with joining it. Those are real things. They matter to real people. And if they matter to you genuinely, not just on a Saturday afternoon in a showroom, then the premium has a case. But if your honest answer is that you would use this vehicle for school runs, commutes, weekend trips, and the occasional road holiday, and that you would spend most of your time in Apple CarPlay listening to the same podcast, then the $15,000 on the sticker and the thousands more that follow quietly through the years are buying you something that will matter far less in practice than it does in the imagination. The Sportage is the better vehicle for most people's actual lives. The BMW is the better vehicle for a very specific kind of driver's emotional life. Only you know which one that is. That is Feature Match Auto. If this comparison made you think differently about how you evaluate a premium car purchase, drop your verdict in the comments. BMW or Sportage, and why? We read everyone, and tell us the next comparison you want to see. Mercedes GLA against the Honda CR-V? Audi Q3 against the Hyundai Tucson? Volvo XC40 against the Mazda CX-5? Every day, the same question, the same honesty. Subscribe so you are there when we answer it.